Hello, this is Crucien here to talk about Bloodborne. Um, I'm going to talk about why you should or should not get this game, and I'll give you in-depth reasoning. I have played this game up to New Game Plus 4. I have got every single weapon in the game and every single piece of armor. There's like one boss, one optional boss I didn't kill yet. It wasn't on my list of things to do. But other than that, I have beat this game throughout its entirety. So here we go with my review of Bloodborne. First, I'll be talking about the cons of this game. One big concern I had was just it wasn't as long as Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2. Now, yeah, they are the same creators, but okay, the game was long, sure. I put a lot of time into this game. I'm a New Game Plus 4, and I think I have about like 92 hours. And then my second character has like, I think 6 to 8, something like that. So I put in almost 100 hours in this game. But the storyline or the main campaign isn't as long as I'd like it to be. Now, sure, there's a shit ton. There's a lot to do in this game. So it's not, too big of a gripe. It's not really going to lower my score. Two more things. Magic is pretty much a joke in this game. Now, there are some awesome magic abilities. However, when you're doing PvP and when you're up against big-ass bosses, the magic isn't really effective. You'll see what I mean if you play this game. Like, there's this one that's called A Call Beyond, which is like the highest level arcane spell that you can get. It's when you go up like this and like all this magic just shoots out, and some of them are homing, so it like follows your target. But in PvP, it is really inaccurate, and it's better for a big group of enemies. But if you played this game several times, you're not going to be surrounded by a big group of enemies. You're going to know where everyone is, and you're going to be able to take them out before it becomes a problem. So magic was a big disappointment. My first character, I actually I wanted. I don't know if they were gonna put magic and stuff into this game, so I put a bunch of skill points in Blood Tinge, which is guns, and arcane, just to find out that halfway through the game I was spending points on useless shit that I was never gonna use. Blood Tinge is for your gun. You know how powerful your gun shoots, and guns is actually on my list of cons. Guns are very underpowered. Now, I know that guns are supposed to be that way. In this game, guns are only supposed to be there so you can counter moves. And I think that's wasted potential, honestly. Guns, they should make it so that if you want to become some awesome badass ranger or something, or a big guy with a cannon, that you can use it effectively in PvP and against boss matches. But it doesn't do anything against boss matches. Okay, there's a few bosses that guns are effective against, but that's like a couple of them. And it's very, very risky, because if you go up against a boss that could one-shot you, you're not going to stand there, trying to shoot at it to counter it. You're going to be fucking dodging out of the way of the fucking hammer that's about to crush you. So magic and guns, I don't think they were implemented well in this game, especially for a mage build, where I was trying to become a mage build until I was like, you know what, fuck it. I want to get the biggest hammer in the game and start whacking people. Two more, lack of armor and weapons. There's like 10 weapons in the whole game, one wooden shield, and a few pieces of armor. The armor is not that hard to get. Like, the hardest armor was getting like the crow's stuff, and I was able to get a New Game Plus 1 or a New Game Plus, and I was able to just find out how to get it, kill the person, and just, take. So, yeah, the armor was extremely easy to find and get. And the weapons, I know that they wanted a very little amount of weapons so that you could customize your weapons around your build. However, I think they did a better job in Dark Souls 2 with customization, because in Dark Souls 2 you could add lightning, fire, and not let it affect your base damage. In this one, you collect runes and you put runes on your weapons, but it depletes your physical damage output. and instead it makes a lower number on your poison or your lightning or your fire, depending on what you wanted it to be. So the customizations for your weapons were very limited, and I don't think most of them were worth it. I mean, I was looking for 3 runes, and they were just physical attack up. Like that's all I was looking for. Especially in the chalice dungeons, you want to look for like the 20% physical attack up, making your damage output just insane. Especially like level 10. So yeah, I don't think they did a really good job on the amount of weapons that they gave you. Now, this stuff was fun, PvP. It was never old, killing people with the Laborious Wheel or the Ludwig's Holy Blade. And one more thing, the PvP and the Covenants. I don't think they were done that well in this one. Now, PvP, it's fun. It's just basic. It's just like Dark Souls 1. It looks like they really went back to the basics. All you can do is PvP. And you can co-op against bosses, and that's about it. I mean, it's not that bad. But in Dark Souls 2, they give you like a whole variety of different PvP options. Like, let's say you want to go to the Dragon Covenant. You kill people to rank up in that covenant. And in the Rat Covenant, you're in this specific area where all the enemies were your friends, and you were there to attack the person invading, and it was so fucking awesome. And the Covenants in Dark Souls 2 were very well done and very diverse. And in Bloodborne, not so much. The Covenants, I think I found like 3 different ones, and they weren't even important. They lasted for like... They didn't last long at all. You cannot rank up in them. You just find some random people, talk to them. There's like a side quest thing that you do, like for the Crow's side quest. You just speak to her a couple times throughout the game, and then she dies. It's nothing. The Covenants are a joke in this game. You shouldn't really waste your time or spend too much time in the Covenants. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the cons. So let's talk about the pros. So the good things that they did right about this game. The level of detail in this game is phenomenal. Like, it is truly a gothic setting, and they owned up to it. It is every part about this game is demented and disgusting and in a way beautiful. They did a really, really great job. The graphics also very well done, especially for the next gen. You could actually see the PlayStation 4, its performance. You can really see that in the game. The particle effects, the lighting, the details, the draw distance is actually pretty good too. I mean, it's not the best, but it's pretty good. And, I don't know, this game just really made you feel like you were thrown into this world, and there's, like, no hope, just like they did in Dark Souls 1. They did a really amazing job. Plus, they really throw you in a world where you don't know anything. You don't know what's going on, you don't know the story. That's another thing. The story is very vague, just like Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2. They don't really tell you anything. You have to progress through the story and find out little pieces about the story. Another thing, they have a lot of hidden messages and hidden themes. For instance, there's this one that I actually had to look up. I'm not going to take credit for knowing this, but it's when it's called Oedipism. When you gain so much knowledge. In this game, it's called insight. It makes sense. You're gaining a lot of insight. But the more knowledge you have, the crazier you get, because when you have insight, you're able to see these creatures on the temple walls and on the buildings, and they you can't really kill. I mean, there's a boss fight that includes one of them, but it's a one-shot kill. You come in their hand and they kill you. That doesn't make any sense. But anyways, if you get 40 insight, you're able to see these creatures. Unless you go to the level, it's called the Hidden Village, then you can see them yourself. But level 40 insight, you'll see these creatures. And the hidden message is, the more insight you gain, the crazier you become, because you start seeing the world for what it really is. And at that time, it's disgusting, but you gouge out your eyes. You'll see that a lot of creatures and a lot of characters in this game are blind. Especially Father Gascoigne and the other boss I don't know how to pronounce, but it's the chick that turns into that huge-ass werewolf creature. or whatever she becomes, they're both blind. And there's several other creatures and several other characters that you come across that are blind. And it's because they gained so much knowledge that it scared them. They just started seeing crazy shit, so they gouge out their eyes. And there's another hidden theme. People gouge out their eyes because they want to look within themselves to become wise. You have the whole thing about your brain having eyes. You want to open up the eyes on your brain rather than looking outwards in the world to gain wisdom. And you actually see that there are some creatures that have you have the brains that walk around with like bodies, and it's fucking disgusting and it's weird as shit. But they actually have eyes on their brain, and it's very interesting. But I like this game how it has all these hidden things that you actually have to actually know what it is. Like I had to look these up. I didn't come across them on my own. But I like how this game does that. Another thing, the enemies and the bosses are very diverse, and the bosses aren't the same. Like in Dark Souls, the boss variety was amazing. Like, you don't know what you were going to come across. In Dark Souls 2, they lost their touch when it came to bosses because every boss was just this big guy in armor for the most part. But in Bloodborne, they got their shit back together with the bosses. Their bosses are tremendous, and they're amazing, and they're sick and disgusting as fuck, and I love it. And the enemies, there are so many enemies in this game, and it's really cool. I like a game where it doesn't give you the same enemies here and there. Every place you go to has different enemies. The people of this game are throwing enemies at you, and it's really cool. You have new enemies to study, learn their attacks, and defeat them, just like regular Dark Souls 1. And one more thing, the sword play is very well done. The weapons, your right-handed weapons at least, they're really, really good. The trick weapons, you can actually combine them, or not combine them, but you can change them up and fight different playstyles. It's really cool. So yeah, that's what I have to say about Bloodborne. And the final verdict is you should get this game. It is a definite must-buy for the PlayStation 4. That one in The Witcher 3. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to press that like button and subscribe.